It's time once again for the Massena Raiders Coaches Show. I'm Elijah Winfrey. Joining me here on the track at Mike Nicholas Field is Coach Taylor Zappia, our head football coach for the varsity squad. And Coach, how's it going?
Good. Thanks again for coming down here.
No problem, my friend. And, you know, I know that folks are very excited about this game against Gouverneur. An opportunity to kind of get the bad taste out of our mouth from last week.
Yep.
Obviously, everybody knows what happened last week, but I want to kind of ask you the question. You know, for fans, we're always looking at wins, we're looking at losses. But I know for coaches, especially at the high school level, it's about lessons. What can you teach these kids they can use further down the road in life or in football? And I'm just curious, I know you've still had lessons in those victories,
yep.
But in that first loss of the season, what did you learn about your team? What have you been stressing this week to the guys?
Yeah, so definitely it's lessons and victories. These guys know that winning's fun, obviously, but it's not fun in the sense that it's hard work, right? So you put in the work all week, and when you win the game, it's like, my God, that was great. We got the win, but that was a tough week. So it is tough to put in that full week of hard work and then come out on the other side. And fortunately, it didn't happen until 5-6 games into the year. But no, that was another challenge we had to face as a team, as a coaching staff. So basically what we're kind of instilling in these guys is we're going to really find out for the rest of the season kind of how we are as men. In a sense, are we going to sit down and pout and give up in a sense, or are we going to get back up, dust ourselves off, let it hurt? I told the guys, let it hurt for the night, because it stinks to lose a football game when you can only play once a week. But Saturday rolls around, Sunday, definitely Monday, first practice, we dust ourselves off and we start looking for the positives in it. And I told the guys, like, as we continue this season, the games are only going to get harder and more meaningful. But that's why we play. That's why we love to play this game. So, no, definitely as a coaching staff, it's huge to let these guys know that there's a lot to learn in victories, but there's even more to learn in defeats. And at the end of the day, not to get into the X's and O's, but we didn't capitalize on some good chances, and they did at the end of the day. So yeah, there were a bunch of little X's and O's things that we could get into, and hopefully, we have the opportunity to play them again. That would be great, but we got a lot of work to go until we get there. But as a coaching staff, we got together and we kind of figured out where we screwed up and tried to correct that. And I think, just like you said, the most important part is letting these guys know this is where we figure out if you're truly tough, mm-hmm. not only physically but mentally. Are you going to be able to move on from a loss? Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, we kind of don't let one loss become two.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Coach, as far as this Gouverneur squad is concerned, obviously you guys play in Class B. They play in Class C. So this is going to be the only time you guys play each other. You won't face them in the playoffs. But what can you tell us about this game? Because I feel like there's just something extra with this. I know we haven't beat them in a while, but I feel like there's a grudge held from last season, how that game ended, and wanting to make sure we don't have that happen again, right?
Yeah. Last season, if we can remember, we started slow and they went up really quick on us. Then we turned it on. It's hard going up there and playing in Gouverneur, as a lot of teams realize. But no, once we turned it on, we were right in the game with them. That was a great team last year, Gouverneur. They have a bunch of returns this year. So I know the goal this year is we can't wait till 4 minutes into the first quarter to flip it on. We got to be ready to go in warm-ups and play a full 4 quarters and not kind of hope that they're gonna keep it low and we're keeping it low and turn it up when we're turning it up. They're going to be ready to go. They're a very disciplined, tough, strong, quick, well-coached team. It's going to be the best team we play so far. Obviously, they're undefeated, but we're up to face a challenge, and it's just another great opportunity for us.
Now, Coach Zappia, when it comes to Gouverneur, I've always compared them to a South Georgia team. The difference being, if you're playing for an Atlanta team, there's other options on a Friday night. Sure. South Georgia, all they got is high school football, sure. So the entire town comes out. I know they travel well. I've put the challenge out there that we got to be a lot louder whenever our defense is on the field, their offense is on the field. I'm not going to ask you if you agree with that, but what I am going to ask you is, how loud do you guys need it to be to help these kids?
I mean, as loud as possible, right? That's what at the end of the day, that's what gets these guys fired up. they love coming down to Mike Nicholas Field and seeing, friends, family, and everyone just coming out and supporting them, and showing the emotion in the stands that they have on the field. It means the world to the guys, and it means the world to the coaching staff too. All the work these guys put in. It's awesome to see the community, they could be doing a lot of things on a Friday night in a sense nowadays, but they take the time to come down and support these guys that are putting in so much effort and so much work all week. It's special. It's special to have a community like that. So yeah, we want to pack the stands, definitely.
All right, so Raiders fans, you heard it from Coach. Be loud, loud. They definitely don't let Gouverneur out-cheer us. I know one of the things you said here at practice today, and I think it was very noteworthy, which is why I'm mentioning it now, is do not let them, speaking of Gouverneur, intimidate us.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a beautiful thing that you said out there, because I can tell from like the fan base, anytime you play like a Gouverneur or you play a Peru, it's like there's like a historical element to it where everybody gets automatically a little bit nervous. I get it. They've earned that reputation. Sure, yeah. But what are you guys going to do to make sure they don't intimidate us?
No, that's exactly what I was going to say right there, is that, in football, teams that intimidate do earn that reputation. So it goes without saying that Massena, in the past has never been intimidated by teams. I know this group, win, lose, or draw, will not be intimidated. They will not back down from anyone. I tell these guys all the time, never out of the fight. It doesn't matter. We're gonna break it down, not only quarter at a time, but a play at a time. But we're never out of the fight. We're always going to. Our goal is going to be to be the tougher team. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we can't let a team come onto our field especially and be lost before kickoff, because that happens to a lot of teams. It doesn't happen to Massena, but it's just another challenge you're gonna have to face. These guys are definitely up for it.
And I remember last time we played Gouverneur, you actually said that to me before the game. You said a lot of teams come out here to the fairgrounds and they're beat before they get off the bus. And obviously they're here at Mike Nicholas Field this week. So hopefully, our crowd will show up, cheer loud for the kids. And it is senior night. Obviously that adds a little something extra to it. I know they've got 19 seniors. I believe we have 12, right?
I believe, yeah.
So lots of experience on the field. Yeah. And I know you were telling the guys out there, you want them to be, you didn't say this word, but I'm going to say it. You want them to be nasty out there on defense, legally nasty. Yes, we don't want a bunch of penalties, but you want that toughness that we saw earlier in the season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw it. I saw flashes of it in OFA, but the games before that, man, these guys were not only playing technically sound defense, but they were flying to the ball. They were gang tackling, and they were second, third guy in. They were punching the ball. They wanted the ball. They had that mentality. Just because you're on offense, it's still our ball, and we're trying to still instill that into the defense. Just because the offense has it, it's still yours. So go get it. It just might be a little bit harder to get the ball on defense. But no, I love the way these guys have been practicing all week. They've got that edge back. But no, they stepped up to the challenge as far as Monday through Thursday so far. They're not, we're not sitting here feeling sorry for ourselves because we lost the game. Dust ourselves off, learn from it, and move on. We got, Gouverneur tomorrow night. So,
with how last week ended, was there anything different that you guys did than you normally would do during practice this week?
Yeah, we definitely are going to do some different things. Offensively, defensively, we had some checks against Ogdensburg. We're going to let the guys play a little bit more free against Gouverneur, because I think that's when they play their best. Obviously, we still have some small checks, but offensively, we did try some things that were in the playbook, but we haven't really shown a ton of it yet. And it looked good in practice, so that's all I can go off of right now. And we're gonna give it our best shot. We need to get a push on the offensive line. That's kind of what we saw in Ogdensburg. We need to be able to run the ball. So we're kind of trying to do some things to not only help some of the offensive line, but also give Eastwood a little bit more pass protection, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm talking circles here, but we need to be able to establish a run game, and that's kind of what we've been preaching all week. So.
And of course, you and I talk a lot outside of the coaches show. Yep. But I do want to bring up one thing that we did talk about. Obviously, we always see it in the NFL, we see it in college. The need for a kicker, right?
Yeah.
And that's in those pressure moments. I did see you guys out here practicing some kicks.
Yeah.
What is that like for folks in the stands who don't understand? What is that like for you as far as when to throw out that field goal unit or not?
If you want to get technical, we can use the sheet, right? I mean, I love kicking the extra point, right? It's nice when you have somebody that can not only kick the ball but snap and hold, and I do believe that we have that with Murtaugh, but it's just, I guess it's the flow of the game. Okay. I would say the flow of the game. Obviously, we can get into it happened first game of the year last year with Augsburg. We can get in kind of a 2-point battle. If they go for 2 and get it, then we feel like we have to go for 2 and get it,
right?
And stuff like that, which isn't always necessarily the case, but unless you got a guy that is going to kick 99% of your field goals or your extra points, sometimes it's okay to look at that 2-point play call sheet and see what we got and see kind of who's hot and the flow of the game, stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm just trying to make sure people understand at home. It's not as easy as it looks. It's not like, well, if we get to the 20, obviously field goal. It's like, no, these are high school kids. Chill out.
Yeah, exactly. And not only kicking field goals or extra points, but it's punting, because a lot of times in high school football it's the same guy. So not only does it, if we can, have somebody that punts the ball, it takes a lot of pressure off those third down plays. If we got somebody that can really pin them deep, and on the other side of the coin, if we don't, then it kind of puts a little bit more pressure. But again, we adapt as a coaching staff, and the kids adapt, and whatever we kind of have and have been developing, some years is different than other years, but we do our best to give the kids the best opportunity to succeed.
These seniors, again, you have roughly 12, we believe. I don't want to leave anybody out. What can you say about this senior class? Because I know last year a lot of the fan base was worried about, we're losing 17 seniors. Yeah. And it's like these kids took that torch and said, no. We're not backing down. We're going to keep running with it.
No, just keep it short. It's a great group of kids. I've had years in the past where sometimes it's like a kind of a drag coming to practice after the grind. It turns into a job in a sense. But this year, last year also, but this year especially, the coaching staff, they love coming to practice. They love seeing these seniors. They're leading, just because they didn't get voted captain. They didn't take that personally. They knew that it was their team. I tell these guys all the time. I'm like, guys, not to sound sad, but I'm going to keep coaching next year. I'm going to keep coaching hopefully the year after, God willing. This is your team. This is your season. How do you want it to be remembered? And these seniors stepped up, so far, and they're leading from the front, and they're saying they're really taking that literally. This is our season, our team. How do we want to remember this really for the rest of your life? So
last question, Coach, because I know you got to go. So as far as a message to Raider Nation for this Friday night game, I feel like we've said everything, but if you had to say one more thing just to reiterate, what do you want to see against Gouverneur from those fans in the stands?
There's nothing better than coming to watch a football game on Friday night in Massena. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, so folks, hey, the challenge is out there. Be loud, be proud, and let's cheer our Raiders on to a victory over those Gouverneur Wildcats. Make it a long trip home for Gouverneur. Hey, game time is coming up very soon. We'll be with you with a call on WMSA.